Hello YouTube, Jason Duhamel from Smoky Days Barbecue. Had a request on one of my previous videos to do a video on pulled pork, so I'm going to go ahead and rub this pork butt here and then I'll get it on the smoker probably tonight. I'm probably going to put it on about midnight. It should take 10 hours maybe at 225. So here's your pork butt. This is the bone end. You see the blade bones right here. This is what you would call a money muscle. So you can see this muscle goes right across here. And in competitions you can actually trim that off and slice it and use that as your presentation. This is the fat cap on it. You see it's a pretty thick piece of fat, but on pork butts I don't really mess with any trimming at all on these, just because you want the fat in there to render out and makes the meat moist. So what I'm going to do is a couple different things this time. Is I'm going to use a commercial rub. I'm going to use this Weber. It's called Weber smoking rub, dry smoking rub. I found this at actually at Walmart. I usually make my own rub, but I thought I'd try this time just to see how it works. It's more of a sweet, spicy rub, which is kind of like mine also. So what I'll do with this pork butt is, my first thing I'll do is, and there's several ways you can do this, but I'm going to do it with just regular yellow mustard. So I'm going to cover the outside of the pork butt with yellow mustard, and that does a couple things. That'll allow your rub to adhere, and it will also help create a good crust on it, or a bark. And that's what we want. You know, when your rubs start melting away and start getting into your meat, and the rub has sugar in it, that sugar turns to a nice dark, you know, bark that it just tastes great. So do this pretty liberally over it. And I'm going to cook this on my Traeger Lone Star. And like I said, I'm probably going to put it on tonight. I'm going to cook it at 225 until I get to an internal temp of about 195 to 205. So let's go ahead and get this thing rubbed. This pork butt is a Tyson pork butt. I don't always buy the Tyson ones, and it's because of the extra injection they put into them. It's like the saltwater solution they try to cure their pork butts and stuff with. I like to get the twin packs from like Sam's and Costco, like that, and they're in the cryovac, and they're not they don't have that extra liquid in it. But we're gonna do this on all sides, nice and liberal. So this is about an 8-pounder. And from my experience cooking pork, which I've cooked a lot of pulled pork, is you get about, you lose about 50% when cooking pork. So when you're cooking it for a long period of time, obviously 10 to 12 hours at 225, this is like an 8.3 pound pork butt. I'm probably going to get just over 4 pounds of pork out of it. I do a little bit of catering, and I do sell pulled pork, and that's always been the estimate that I've used. So, you know, if you're planning for a party and you're cooking pulled pork, you're going to want to double your meat. So if somebody needs 10 pounds of meat, then you're going to have to cook 20 in order to get those 10 pounds. So just a little rule of thumb that I use, and it's always worked out pretty good. So I'm doing this a couple hours. You can even do this the night before you cook it. But I'm doing it like a couple hours before, let the rub soak in. And I'm going to actually cook it a little differently this time. I'm going to cook it in a metal pan. It's not really going to make much of a difference. I just found this out from Diva Q in the Traeger class I took. That's how she does it. And she said there's no other reason for it other than the fact that she doesn't like to clean up her grill. So we're going to try it this way. It's going to be uncovered. It'll just be sitting in the pan. So that's all I got now. So when I put it on the smoker, I will come back and talk to you again. Alright guys, it's almost midnight. I'm going to put this pork butt on. I wanted to show you my little setup here. Got my little grill awning and my rope lights around it. Pork butt's been sitting a few hours. Kind of hard to see. There it is. I got the Traeger on 225. It's coming up to temperature. Should be done by football tomorrow, so I'll put this on and I'll get back with you. Alright, the smoker temp's leveled out. I'm going to put this on. As you can see, I'm using my iGrill 2 thermometer. It has 4 probes. I'm only using 2 currently. That'd be hard to see since it's dark out here. But like I said earlier, I'm going to go ahead and cook this pork butt in the pan this time. Doing it that way, I'm only going to get bark on 3 sides, but the bottom's a fat cap anyway. So this is, and I'm going to close this while I talk. This is a 8.5 pound Tyson pork butt. For those who wanted a video on this, pork butts are called different things. Pork blade roast, Boston butt, pork butt. They're all basically the same thing. It comes from the butt end of the shoulder. It's a real fatty piece of meat, but it yields your best pork forward. Usually I cook these for, I usually plan on 12 hours if I'm going to cook it. This was probably going to take a little less. So it was, like I said, it was a Tyson brand, and with the Tyson brands they come with that little extra like injection saltwater solution. They're kind of like your turkeys do and things like that. I do usually get my pork at Sam's, and they're good twin packs and cryovac. They seem to do real good. So I'm just going to go to bed and let this cook. I have my iGrill thermometer here. That's on my iPhone. So it's telling me my meat's at 43 and my smoker's at 239. This will sit at my bedside. I have a range set, so if the smoker gets below 150 or above 400, this is going to beep and tell me. And then I'm going to grill this to 196. I just set that at 196 just to give me a warning. Pork's usually done between 190 and 205. I usually like to take mine to 195 to 200, around there. And you'll be able to feel that when you move the pork butt. You'll be able to feel it falling apart. So I'm not going to spray it. I'm not going to do anything to it. This is just going to be it's just a simple rub in the pan. On the Traeger, I'm using lumberjack cherry pellets, and that's it. So I'm going to head to bed. I will be back in the morning to see what it looks like. Later. Good morning, guys. It's about 8:45 this morning. Pork's been on for almost 9 hours. Right now I'm at an internal temp of about 171. Traeger just steamed through the night without any problems. Take a look at it. Looking good. Still got a little ways to go. Said I didn't get the pain this time, but it's pretty good. It's sitting in some juices. We'll go back. I'll come back when I'm done. Pull it off. Alright guys, so what I just did here is I thought it was recording and I wasn't. Now I am. The pork's at about 177. It's been on about 10 and a half hours. A little bit of a stall right there. Usually I wrap about 160. Decided this time to go ahead and wrap now. The bark's already set. So I went ahead and just kept it in the pan. And I wrapped foil around the pan real tight. And I poured these this fat and juices off here. You see those. And what I'll probably do with this is use a little bit of it to thin out some barbecue sauce to toss with the pork. A lot of your barbecue sauces, your commercial ones, are coming in, you know, a little thick, and this gives it extra flavor and thins it out. And then if you choose not to sauce your pork, which I do that a lot too, I know a lot of people like their own types of sauces, so if you choose not to sauce your pork, you can just serve sauce on the side. But I think this time I'm actually going to sauce some of it, so I'll use a little sauce and thin it out with this and then toss it. It should turn out pretty good. So I'll come back when it's done. Like I said, 177, it should be another hour, be my guess. That put us at the 11.5-hour mark, which is about right. And I'll come back when it's all done. So just see what I've done here is I've taken that juice that I pulled out of that pan, mixed it with a little Sweet Baby Ray's sweet Vidalia onion. Happened to be something I had in the fridge. It got me a nice little thin finishing sauce here. So when I pull the pork, I'll probably put it in this pan and just toss it all together. So that's what I was saying when I was talking about thinning out the sauce. I'll come back when it's all done. Alright, here you go, final product. Right at 12 hours exactly. As you can see, it just pulls apart. It's nice and tender. I took it to an internal temperature of about 200. And now I'm just going to pull it. I'm going to use some of this sauce that I've heated up with the drippings. It's going to be outstanding. Alright, that's it for now. Any more questions? Any more videos you want me to make? Comment below. Thanks.